Hey everybody, and welcome to the Buttons, Clicks and Sticks podcast. This marks week 4. 3 weeks in a row where I've managed to pronounce the name correctly. With me is Mr. Jeroen, myself.
Good evening.
Hi.
Good morning. Good afternoon. I think I've covered all bases now, right?
Yeah, I think you can listen to this podcast at any time and feel included. Just a side note, I did manage to say the name of our podcast correctly, but I did forget to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Jacob.
Hello, Jacob.
Hello. This is the 4th episode. We're far into the new year now. It's been really snowy here in Sweden. It's been today it's been extremely rainy, so I can only imagine that going out tomorrow will be a blast. How is the weather over in the Netherlands?
Insofar I've experienced, it's been windy, especially windy. It's also been rainy, but it's been like on and off. Obviously, there's not been any snow here because there's never snow here.
Oh.
Due to global warming, probably. I don't know. Yeah, so it's basically that. Wind, rain, grey all day.
I do like the grey weather, but I must say I enjoyed going out on Saturday because I went over to my brother and his girlfriend and we watched some live Dota, and it was snowing horizontally.
That is interesting.
Yes, it was also because the snow was very wet, so I could just skid around with my car and I had a blast. But we're not here to talk about weather that much. We are here to talk about video games. And even though the new year is a bit slow, not too many hot new releases, I think you and I have managed to play at least some video games.
We have been playing some video games.
Yes, what?
Predominantly old games.
No, you want to play old games all the time because old games are good, and then you get the new games when they're good as well.
Yeah, well, I've only played one new game, I'm not entirely sure if it's a new game. It's a game that I've played for the first time, and I might already give this away, probably for the last time.
Oh no. Am I wrong in guessing that this game was something that you picked up during the Anime Week sale on Steam?
No. This game, while definitely belonging in this sort of anime,
style.
An anime style, the group of games that are called anime, was free.
Right, you did not have to put out any money for this anime style game.
I did not have to put any money for this anime MMO. I just got to play it for free.
What exactly is the name of this anime MMO?
The name of this anime MMO is Magic Barrage Bitferno.
That sounds amazing. Please tell me more about this video game that I will never play.
You sound very excited about this game.
Of course.
I obviously haven't, extensively played this game. In fact, I've played it for half an hour, which I think is enough. It's an MMO where you pick from 8 different classes and you create a name, like a character. Who all look like every class looks the same. No, wait. How do I say this?
There's no cosmetic difference between the 8 classes?
There is. Every class has its a unique sprite, but your sprite never changes. That's what I want to say.
So you put on armor and weapons, but it doesn't change?
Yeah.
That sucks. I immediately hate this game.
Yeah. Okay. That's
my
fair.
review. I didn't even play it. I work for Aftonbladet.
You can't really say it's a review if you haven't played it. It's more like a preview, isn't it?
If you work for Sweden's biggest newspaper, Aftonbladet, you can say whatever you want without having any sort of knowledge about it.
That sounds awfully political.
No, it's just if you don't cite where you take news. Actually, let's not talk about bad newspapers. Let's talk about Magic Barrage Bitferno.
Magic Barrage Bitferno. Yeah. So when I create my character, I picked the ninja class, obviously. you get dropped into the world, and there's immediately enemies around you.
Sweet.
So that
That's how
was,
I feel when I walk outside.
yeah, it was a bit intense. You have a sort of like Diablo style fighting, I guess. I mean, you have like your left click and then a few hotkeys. That's your attacks, right?
Yeah.
And you go through the world killing stuff. It's the only sort of like interesting things that I think maybe other MMOs could learn from. Having played this 30 minutes, I've picked up like a few things that other MMOs could learn from. Is that you can have yourself teleported to the next quest giver, like from being outside your, like, you go into a zone where you have to kill a named mob, and then after you've done that, you can just have yourself teleported back to the quest giver.
Okay, so they're like, we hate this world. We imagine you'll hate this world as well. We'll never want to travel through it again, so we're just gonna cut out the travel for you.
Exactly.
That's I'd say yeah. That sounds convenient, but it also feels like if the world is so bad that I don't want to like ride through it, then that's a problem.
Hmm.
I guess it's a matter of it would be maybe one of those things that playing through it the first time, like if we think about World of the Draenor, I actually enjoyed riding through that world because it was very beautiful. But maybe for like your fifth or sixth character, you just want to get XP in
As
your mouth.
fast as possible, yeah. Well, I think that like the game obviously is like an 8-bit game. It's like it's not going to be pretty.
Oh
So
really?
yeah. So
8-bit is an anime style.
well, it is like with the big eyes and stuff. It's just it
Mm,
means anime.
okay.
You
Okay,
can
I'll buy that one. We can argue about anime and anime style later on, but okay, I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
But I think sort of the quality of the game, or because they know they're not gonna offer interesting sides and stuff, is the fights that you do with the named bosses, which take on a bit of a bullet hell style.
Hmm.
You
Top
know,
down?
it's not top down, but there is actually a one dungeon that I went into did actually became like a top down bullet hell. And I was completely surprised by that happening. Fortunately, it was a pretty easy one, obviously, because it was the start of the game. But yeah, I think that if it wasn't a game with a very bad UI, a very bad pay to win system, because that was definitely there.
Oh right, really? What did you buy? If you wanted to put money into Magic Barrage :bit Inferno, what would you get?
What would you get? You can buy all sorts of things. You can buy cosmetic stuff, which I find interesting. You can buy pets, I've seen, and I think you can just straight up buy better weapons. I'm not sure.
Nice, because that's also another great sign. Is you don't want to play our game, just buy the loot.
Exactly. Yeah, it wasn't a good game. I was
No.
not. I was not. I'm never gonna say it was a good game. I do wonder though, because it wasn't an empty game. Like there were other people there, and they were like chatting uh in the chat room thing function. And there was also apparently a bug that was happening, and there was a GM who was giving world announcements about how to get around the bug until they fix it. So there were people online, and I just wonder, like, why would you play this game? Maybe I have to play a bit more. Maybe there is like a hidden beauty, a hidden fun factor to it that I have not really come across yet.
Well, I'd be interested in hearing it, and I think our listeners will be interested in hearing it in episode 5. What you think about Magic Barrage Bit Inferno? But I think like the people who play these games, in all seriousness, what we think of like the bad free to play games or free to play games in general are kids. You don't have like you and me. We have money. If we want a game, we buy it. It's not. If it's like, oh no, I spent all this money on a video game. It's like, okay. no worries. But for a kid, you have your allowance. Like, imagine, like, when we were 10, 11, having a slew of free games that are actually playable. It's not these really bad flash games that are mostly pornography. It's actual real games with support. Then these games start looking a lot better than... I mean, of course, it's not going to be, you know, a Dota or something like that, but it's...
Which is also free to play.
Which is also free to play, and I would argue that it is the best free to play game. That and Temple Run 2. But yeah, so I just think like that's their market is 12-year-olds.
Could very well be.
And then some adults, of course, because it's all everyone finds their weird game. Like, I have Euro Truck Simulator 2. No one else but me that I know likes it, and I have put 50 hours into that game. Maybe there's some adults who are like, well, I'm really fucking into Magic Barrage Bit Inferno because that game is dope.
Maybe, perhaps. I think there's more people that are into Euro Truck Simulator. You're not the only one. I think the game did actually pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But I think it's me and like 99% Germans. But then again, I am pretty German.
Okay. Okay.
I think that is true. It's the same with Farm Simulator. It's a lot of these simulator games are very big in the German market.
Isn't Farming Simulator like the one that was like a Steam game?
Yeah, it is a Steam game, the Farming Simulator ones.
The really bad simulator.
No. Well, some of the simulator games are very bad. Well, I mean, Farming Simulator, I think, is the simulator with the most love in it, aside from, you know, Euro Truck Simulator.
Farming Simulator 15.
Yeah, they still make them. There's another company that like went into the ground.
Farming Simulator 15 actually does look to have quite nice graphics.
Yeah, I mean, because people buy that because it's a bit. It's not maybe not the game you'll be like, well, I'm gonna stream this game on Twitch because esports. It's the Farming Simulator 15 mega tournament. No, but it's like.
I've definitely seen YouTube videos of Farming Simulator.
Were they Germans?
No.
Okay. I will have to. Maybe that will be my project. Is that like see what's the national divide on Farming Simulator, and then maybe I'll play Euro Truck Simulator 2 because that game's amazing. Okay. Did you have anything else on cool magic missile, or did you play other games?
I did play a few other games. They're not new games. I played a bit of Skyrim.
First Road Dada.
Fush Road Da, indeed. I played a bit of Crusader Kings, obviously.
I've heard about that game.
Sorry, had to. A bit of EU4, the standard things. There was one thing I wanted to say about Bitferno.
One more thing about
Magic Barrage.
Barrage.
Not so much about the game actually, but more about the fact that it had like the bullet hell element to it, and I'm like terrible at those games, but I really want to play a good one.
Maybe you should play, because that's one game that I have on my wish list that I might buy. Is the original Geometry Wars. That game is just really nice looking. Still, it runs really well.
Isn't there like a free version of that somewhere?
Probably. People steal game concepts all the time, make them free, and put on like adverts. Just look at Threes.
Yeah.
People stole that game and ruined it.
Kind of.
Yeah, so that's interesting that they actually have like non-MMO sequences.
Yeah, because obviously bullet hell is very. You can obviously have a bullet hell, bulletstorm, whatever you want to call it. Like, is there a difference between a bullet hell and bulletstorm?
Well, Bulletstorm is a game.
That's true.
A really good game.
Bullet hell then.
Bullet hell is the appropriate. I would say all like shooter is another one, but then that only refers to the top down when you're playing. That's like the Japanese style shooter.
The Japanese bullet hell thing. Those insane ones.
Yeah, like
Toho Project.
Beep. I censored that, but it was a really clever answer. Okay, so you had played. Did you say you played Skyrim?
Yeah, I played the Dragonborn DLC for the first time.
Oh, I really like that one when I played it. That's the one you get to go to Morrowind, isn't it? Or like
Well, the Solstheim,
yeah.
which is an island off the coast, sort of like north of Morrowind and Skyrim, but it has been given to Morrowind. It has been seceded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that for the first time. I
Mhm.
picked it up in a Steam sale. Obviously not this one because I missed this one. The latest one, the
winter holiday,
big one.
the Frostivus one. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that one. I think I might have actually bought it like Christmas last year.
Yeah.
And I find it later. But I discovered something which is a little bit upsetting. I went through the island a little bit. I haven't like finished it or anything, but I was doing things there, waiting for the main storyline, which I vaguely know a few things about to start, and it didn't. So I went online to check why not, and then it turns out that you have to have been to High Hrothgar before going to Solstheim, otherwise the main story there won't start. And I haven't been to High Hrothgar on my character.
Oh, you've just been doing adventures.
Yeah, I've just been doing my own thing.
Yeah, and then I saw you talking about downloading a lot of modifications, or at least asking our dear mutual friend Frill.
Yes.
Frill.
I actually did have like some of the modifications that I wanted previously, but I kind of lost them. I don't know what I did.
All those. Yeah, it wasn't. It was all those pornographic mods that got taken.
All
down.
those, yeah, like Skyrim Big Dicks.
Oh, that's my boy band. Sorry.
Skyrim Big Dicks. And my what's it called? Like the Lusty Argonian Maid mod.
Ooh, yeah. High definition butts.
High definition butts.
If I was gonna make, that's a modification I want for every game. They're like, Jacob, why are you playing chess? And I'm like, well, but I play chess because I have the high definition butts mod. It just.
Is it a joke that just went over my head, or is it just no joke there?
I don't know. Is it funny? Was it funny?
I just don't get it.
Like, there's no butts in chess, is it?
No.
So I want a high definition butts mode for it, or mod for it.
Okay. You want chess? Oh, I think I'm starting to get it. You want the game chess to have a high definition butt mod.
Yes.
This is a tongue twister. High definition butt mod.
But mod, because you want to continue on the almost like alliteration, but that's with consonants. But you want the same vowel sounds. It's butt mud or bot mod.
You essentially just want to rhyme, but
yeah, but you can't because I fucked you up with my evil butt mod. Butt mud is something entirely different.
That is a gross thing.
Well, let's let the audience at home think about what butt mud might be. Whilst we move on to
Modifications?
What modifications was it that you wanted for Skyrim?
I wanted more. I wanted a few things. There's still a few modifications that I want that I don't have yet, because I couldn't be arsed to research if they exist. I assume they will. But I wanted, first of all, survival mod so that I could freeze to death, starve to death, dehydrate to death.
Yeah, the things, everyone wants in life.
Yeah. I just wanted a bit of more, realism, more immersion for my Skyrim experience.
Yeah.
So I got those. I also have a whole bunch of sort of graphical update mods, but not big ones. They don't add much. They just make the game look prettier.
Yeah.
And I also kind of want 2 mods, which perhaps the audience can help me with, because they might have an idea of where I could get those mods. I want 1 mod where I can have my adopted child grow up and become a follower.
Cool. Yeah.
Because now she's just annoying.
He's like, did you bring me presents? I'm like, no, god damn it.
I am saving the world, you stupid little kid.
Well,
I
are
did
you saving the
not.
world just running around like freezing to death? I
Uh,
guess the two can be mutual, but
yeah, I'm basically doing both. I'm not really dealing with this dragon shenanigans. I'm doing my own thing, becoming a good necromancer.
yeah, that doesn't sound like an oxymoron at all.
I mean, you can argue that necromancy is, immoral, but it's all perspective.
It depends. I guess it depends on who you raise from the dead, and if that person wants to be raised from the dead.
I'm not sure how it actually works in Skyrim. If you want to like have a lore discussion about this, whether you are just forcing like the the body functions of a corpse to work again without, binding someone's soul or whatever, then I would say that necromancy is, alright because,
No, because I think when does ownership of the body, get transferred over to someone else? Because I still think
never.
the body the body is still, the property of the soul that once inhibited it.
That's true, but still, I feel that it's not as bad as people would make it out to be if that was the case.
I just think everything has to do with consensuality. Like, if the person who died says, "Hey, you can raise my body from the dead," then yes, it isn't immoral at all. Then if you use it for something immoral, then that's
The
that's your
problem is,
fault.
though, the problem is that when I kill someone, I have their soul strapped into the Black Star, so I can't ask them.
Then we already have the answer. You're not a good necromancer. You're actively stealing souls, and I think that is actually considered bad in Skyrim. It might be considered good somewhere, but I think we're talking about being generally good, and I think stealing souls is not part of the good. What's it called? Alignment.
It's all relative.
It
So
is.
yeah, so yeah, I'm not actually saving the world. Okay, fine, but I am helping people sometimes when I'm not stealing their souls.
You are helping them get relieved of their souls and possessions.
Yes. No, sometimes I help people if they're like nice, but if they ask me to do meaningless shit like go find this person and give them this letter or whatever, then I won't do that because I'm above that. But yeah, so the kid,
Yeah.
the kid that I have,
Yes.
she annoys me, but I adopted her, which was a kind thing to do. I adopted her. I left her in Bree's home while I moved out, so she's like alone there, which is probably irresponsible parenting. But
No, everyone does it these days. Whatever you do as a parent, you don't want to be with your kid. That's kind of the first and foremost role of parenting.
at least she has a house now. I mean, it's better than before when she was
Yeah.
just in the streets. But yeah, I wanted to grow up and become a follower. But that's a
Do you want to kill her when she becomes a follower so you can have another soul?
no,
Okay.
because otherwise I would just download the Kill Kids mod.
Well, really, there's a mod for that?
Yeah.
Of course there's a mod for that. Okay, so you want a mod to make your kid grow up and become a follower.
Yes, and the
What?
other mod I want,
Yes.
the other mod I want is a mod where I can become Jarl. But there is a few mods like that where you can become like Jarl of Helgen, where you can like rebuild Helgen and make it your new hold. And I think there was another one for one of the other cities, but I want one where you can sort of either choose which hold you want to be Jarl of, right?
Yeah.
Or one for Falkreath.
Falkreath is a shitty one, isn't it? The one with no walls or anything. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's got a little bit of like.
It's the one that's close to the Dark Brotherhood, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's nice. It's, foresty and stuff.
That's where my big house is, where my manor house is near to. So that's why I want Falkreath.
Okay, I built mine close to Whiterun, I think, or close to the marsh. That's it. Like, I think it's one of the locations is between, the marsh and Solitude.
One is between, yeah, that belongs to White. Is it White Star Dawn? What is it called?
Can't remember, but that's where
Dawn.
I built my house in the north, and I live there. Ariam, the wood elf, lives there with her girlfriend now, like wife, And I actually I had the game bug for me when I got married. I just remembered now. She didn't show up at the ceremony.
Your wife didn't.
No. And then I find her. She's like, "How could you betray me?" I'm like, "But you weren't there." Because I think the monk. I spooked the monk or like the priest, so he wouldn't do the ceremony and wouldn't start. He just he cowered in fear. So the ceremony wouldn't start, and then it went too late, and then it was like, "Oh, you betrayed me. You stood me up," and I was like, "No, sorry," but I fixed things. It's okay.
You used cheats. You used the console.
No, I just think I remarried her later because I at that time I was playing it on the 360. I then imported my save from the 360 to the PC, which was rather easy.
Yeah.
That's why it said I don't have any achievements and I've barely played the game on PC because I did my first 100 hours on 360.
On 360, it's Morthal, where your house is built.
Yeah, the vampire city, isn't it? I think there's a vampire quest in Morthal.
I think there's no vampire quest in Morthal. I think you can get cured in Morthal.
I think there's vampires there. I think you
No,
have to break into a storeroom or something, and there's a vampire there. I think, or something.
There could be a vampire there, but I just know that you can also get a cure for vampirism in Morthal.
Okay. Yeah, that's where my house is. It's big and nice, and I have a daughter there who runs around and is happy.
Yeah, so that's like the two things I really want.
You want a mod to become a Jarl of anything or Falkreath, and you want a mod to have your child grow up and become a follower.
Exactly.
If any of you have answers for our dear Jeroen, then please go to bcscast.tumblr.com/ask, and you can send in your answer through that. Okay, did you play any? You said you played some other games. Did you have anything else interesting to say about all these your video game exploits?
There is going to be a new EU4 expansion announced.
Right.
But I can't. That's all I can say really, because there's nothing more known. We just know that they're going to announce one soon.
Then I think we'll be talking about that in a future podcast.
I think so too, yeah.
I haven't bought any of the Europa Universalis expansion. I bought every single Crusader Kings one, but I have not bought the ones for EU4.
I have bought all of the game-changing expansions, right? The actual
World
space.
And Res Publica and
Art of War.
Art of War.
Yes.
Yeah, they are game changers, but I also felt like EU. That maybe that's just a compliment to how good EU4 is, because I felt like, well, I don't feel like much is missing from this game. Like when you play Crusader Kings, you can feel like, well, at one point you didn't have the College of Cardinals, you missed some religions, perhaps. Like that game feels like it can expand and has a lot of more potential of expansion than EU4, which I feel is a pretty complete game.
There are things about EU4 that are not finished, which is mostly to do with peacetime. Like there's just not enough to do, because in Victoria 2, like in Crusader Kings 2, you can just watch all the courts, whatever. There's like interesting things to watch when you're not at war, when you're not doing something yourself. You can watch what's going on in the world, and it's always pretty funny to sort of see the French kings becoming, rulers in Croatia or whatever.
I once had an English Catholic queen ruling over Turkestan in one of the Crusader Kings games. Yeah, okay, so yeah, it's something for peace now. Have they managed to do anything with that with their expansions?
A little bit. What they've done is the few good things that they've done, and I think they are mostly free content anyway, but they've increased the number of provinces on the map in total.
Okay, that's good, yeah.
And they've increased the number of countries, because India, for example, or actually I think West Africa, like around Mali, is the most changed area.
So they added African areas then, and like African countries then?
Yeah, they've added like more countries, and they've also added more events for certain countries. I'm not I'm not gonna like from the top of my head. I don't know which countries these are. I know Ethiopia is one of the countries that was given extra sort of events that happened during peacetime, events that relate to the history of the country.
And then you kind of get a choice to either go with history or go against it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you play England, you might actually like concede to the Republicans, and you become a Republican.
To Oliver Cromwell.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm always angry when that happens. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write in my Swedish kings, and we're gonna turn you right.
I always see them stay a monarchy or become a republic and then quickly becoming a monarchy again.
Okay, I've seen it turn into a republic and stay a republic like twice in a row. But that's the randomness of those games.
What's more funny to me is in Victoria 2, which is essentially the same as Crusader Kings 2 and EU4. Well, their concept is similar, but it's at a later time. It's like 1800s, 40 something to
World War One, isn't it?
Yeah, just past World War One actually.
All right, it's kind of is it Great Depression where it ends? Sort of?
Yeah. Around the Great Depression. In that, you can have countries become communist and fascist, obviously, because those were ideologies that started in those times. I've seen the UK become communist at least twice.
Oh, Workers' Republic of?
No, it's the Workers' Commonwealth.
Oh right, that name is really good.
That name is really good.
Yeah, and they have different flags for the different. Like if you're fascist, then you have that kind of like faggot. And now I'm using the word faggot as a bundle of sticks. Because I think isn't that the fascist symbol? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think the fascist symbol is called a fascist. I think.
But isn't it I thought it was like the name. I can at least say that those two words are very related.
They could be. I'm not sure.
But yeah, if anyone's offended, that's meant as a bundle of sticks because the fascist symbol is a bundle of sticks.
It's a bundle of sticks with an X or something tied to it. The fasci. I think it's actually a Latin word.
Yeah, well, and then it's turned into like fagotto or whatever is in Italian. Now I'm just.
It actually is. If you would look up the English Wikipedia page.
Yes.
Fascis or whatever is a plural tantum from Latin word fascis, meaning bundle. Is a bound bundle of wooden rods, sometimes including an axe with its blade emerged. The fascis had its origins in the Etruscan civilization and was passed on to ancient Rome, where it symbolized a magistrate's power and jurisdiction. And that's where fascism is derived from. But yeah, you're right. It actually is a faggot, so it is a bundle of sticks.
Thank God. Otherwise, I'd be super wrong. Now at least I'm wrong but right. Cool.
Yeah.
I actually bought Victoria 2 during a sale, and I am looking forward to playing it one day. Because after my 1,200 hours of Dota, 600 hours of CK2, and constantly increasing in both CK2 and EU4, I need another game that takes a lot of time and is addicting.
Yeah, definitely.
But you play as a country in that one as well, right? You don't play as a ruler, but you play as a country.
Yeah, you play as a country. You play. It's more like EU4 in that regard, but it's also different because it's also more about building up your economy by building factories and managing your factories and.
So, what we want then is after Heart of Iron 4, which I think is coming out this year, and I'm really excited about. We want a Victoria 3. So
definitely.
So from Crusader Kings 2, you can export your save into EU4. Then you can export that into Victoria 2, and then you can export that into Heart of Iron 4. So you kind of finish off your entire big your grand campaign from 769 start of the Charlemagne reign. You can end that with World War 2 and see how the world is divided. I think that would be really cool.
I agree.
I would play that.
Definitely.
Okay, cool.
So, Jacob.
Yes.
What have you been playing?
I have been playing a lot of Dota. And I've actually been playing a lot of WoW recently as well. But I've done a new thing where like I start playing WoW at like 11 p.m. and then I'm up playing it with good friends until like 7 or 8 a.m. Which has been fun but bad. But I did notice the anime sale, and I did ask some people like, what do you want? Do you want to hear me talk about something in particular? And Kath, long-time listener of the podcast,
The long-time listener of this podcast, which is now 4 episodes in.
Yeah, I'm stoked that someone actually wants to come back and listen to us. Who just didn't hear the first episode. Was like, well, I did it. I listened to it to be kind, but this kind of sucks. Whether people are actually coming back and saying that this is. I'm not sure if they say it's good, but at least they listen to it. I think.
Definitely.
I know that Dan listened to it because he was whispering me, and you know how I finished out the last episode by saying that Soraya's a bitch.
Yes.
He whispered me saying, telling me when he heard that part. So he's a dedicated fan as well. But this is Kath because she started playing Racketeer, and I've been playing it before. And it was part of the anime sale this past week, and I don't think it's going on anymore. I think it stopped on Sunday.
The anime sale.
Yes, I have put about not this week, but in total I've played about 7 hours of it. It's a game about your father basically leaves a huge debt, and this little fairy comes to you and is like, "Where's the money?" You say, I don't have any money." So the entire game is about trying to repay that debt, and thankfully you have an item store that your dad used to run. So the entire game is kind of like you're the shopkeep in an RPG, basically.
Yeah.
Well, heroes come and there's also other people. So the entire game is finding items, selling them, and then you have to pay off your debt in increments. So it's like, okay, you have a week to gain 80,000 pix. Pix is the currency of this universe. And if you don't, they'll be like, oh, you get another chance, and they like push you back, I think, to the start of the week, so you have another chance to get the money. I usually like, because you go into dungeons, like the flow of the game for me is I sell all the shit I have, then you go out dungeoning, because there's you go to an adventurers guild, and you have a hero there that's your friend, and then you go into dungeons with him, and that's where kind of, there's a selling, kind of coupon, but then it's just an ordinary, like, top-down fighting game, like adventuring game, like a Zelda or anything. And you equip gear on him and stuff, you kill stuff, they drop loot, you bring that back and sell it. You get to pick the price, so you have like, the base price, let's say for a piece of bread, is 100 actually. It's the base price of bread is 100. And you kind of want to sell at the normal price is 130% of the base price.
Yeah.
So I always go 140%. And people are like, that's a little bit expensive. I can't pay that. And then I'm like, I'm kind, and I lower it to 130. And they're like, oh shit, oh yeah, that sounds good to me. Because if you start at 130, people are going to be like, that's a bit much. Can you lower it? And then you have to lower it to 120. That's just not enough profits for me.
Would you say there is a challenge in that, or is it just a cheap trick that you can use?
Well, they don't always buy it. Sometimes, because there's one character, and I fudging hate her, and it's this little kid that comes into the store. She actually came in today when I was playing. She's like, I want to buy a present for my dad. I want to buy this bread.
It's a good present.
Yeah, so she's buying bread for her dad as a present. And I'm like, sure, it's 140. And he's like, no, I don't want to pay that. I'm like, it's 130. No, I don't want to pay that. That little kid never wants to pay for anything. She basically wants it free. So the good thing is she came in later and wanted to sell something. I scammed the shit out of her and bought like a treasure, like something I can sell for 6,000 pigs. I paid like 500. And they're like, yeah, go home, you stupid scam.
That sounds very exploitative of the youth. Where are her parents?
Well, I'm a youth as well. Well, we're a parent. I don't know. They give this kid like an endless pouch of money because she comes into my shop and buys stuff 4 times a day. But she doesn't want to pay for it.
It's bad parenting. Bad parenting in video games. It's a trend.
Yep. Yes, it is a trend, very much. But yeah, I think that game just is. It's cute, and I think the combat actually feels tight in it. It does not. The graphics are not anything amazing. That's a game with anime style, and that kind of just. But it's not the sprites when you're fighting. It's not like, oh my god, this game is so beautiful. But it doesn't need to be that.
No.
The fun part is, selling things, and it's a unique concept. I'm not sure how much, because the more you progress, the higher the increments get that you need to pay, and you get like a rival. So I'm not sure what the story arc is. If it's endless, or if it actually ends at some point with you having paid back the debt. And if you get some sort of endless mode, it's like, oh, you don't need to pay in money anymore, so you can sit here and earn money endlessly. Because I don't think that will actually, even though I don't like usually the stress of having to pay for things in game, like oh, you need to do this in 5 days or you're screwed. I guess without it, there isn't much of a game.
No.
Unless there were more like upgrades and stuff, because there are some cosmetic upgrades and stuff for the shop. It's not been huge so far.
Maybe it's like Animal Crossing.
Well, when you pay off the debt fully, you get a new debt. It's like, oh, do you want to buy a bigger store? Do you want to buy a?
It's not even you. Yeah, it's like that. You get a new debt. You don't even get a choice in it. You don't get to say no. I'm fine with the size of my house. I don't need more space.
Actually,
you just get forced it on point. You just get it forced upon you, and then at least in the last Animal Crossing game that I've played, which was the first Animal Crossing, I think.
Still the best, in my opinion.
The one on the GameCube.
I think it just looked the best.
Yeah.
It was really pretty. Or I have rosy tinted glasses, so I haven't played it in ages. But I remember that game just looking great.
And being fun.
Yeah.
I just think that the game, and it might, I'm not sure because I haven't played it in a while. I think the game could do like a sort of pushing its boundaries a little bit more, like just having a little bit more things to do. It was a very relaxing game, you could just chill and
Yeah, you go out on this in the last game. I think it's called New Leaf. Sorry, New Leaf. When you're the mayor, so you get to like decide things in the city.
Yeah,
that's a new mechanic. But what I did was mostly go out to this island and catch bugs, because you could sell the bugs for like 100,000, and you could pay off your debts in a few short days. You could pay off the debt in a day, but you could probably like finish the entire chain of buying things in like a few days.
Yeah.
Should play that again. I think they all hate me because I have been a very bad mayor. I haven't been there for them very much. So I played Racketeer. I might play more of that. I might not. It all depends, because these next few days, all up until the 24th of January, I will be training, playing a lot of Dota, because I'm going to be playing in the Swedish championships of esport.
Is that the actual name of the championship?
The actual name is eSport SM, which directly SM is an acronym that stands for Svenska Mästerskapen, which is Swedish championships.
Yeah.
So the direct translation would be eSports Swedish Championships. And they have a lot of different I think like you could call this it's the Swedish Championships of esport, but there's a lot of different, it's like track and field. You have a lot of different things like high jump and what do you call them? Different disciplines.
Disciplines.
Yeah, I think that's the correct.
That's a sports term, at least.
That's a sports term. It makes me sound smart when I say it. So
Yeah.
there's a difference. So you have it in StarCraft. It's been running a long time in StarCraft. StarCraft 2, that is. Counter-Strike, Go. I think League of Legends. This is the first time they have Dota 2. It's the first time they have Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. And it is the first time... No, not the first time, but they also have FIFA 15. It's one of them.
They have FIFA 15.
Yes.
Presumably they had FIFA 14 in the last one.
Probably, or it would have been, future.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I and my brother managed to gather a team, and we call ourselves Team 03.
Which means?
It's also an acronym for Oi Oi Oi. Where Oi is basically the Swedish word for like oh or oops. And we were at a pub stomp, they call it, when you watch Dota 2 in a bar.
Yeah.
And there was this guy who commented on everything, no matter how small or unimportant. He would say oi 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 all the time. So we were like, this goddamn guy. So we made a team named after him, because why not? Because most of the people in the team were that day. So it's me playing me, Birchman. It's my brother Runken. It's Elite 2 Core. It's Currywurst. And it's Chefen. And we also have a stand-in who played. If you were watching my stream tonight, I don't think you were, but I was casting an in-house match, a 5 versus 5.
Yeah.
And he played. His name is Zyko. He's and I'm not mispronouncing Psycho. He spelled it with a Z or a Z.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it's pronounced Zyko. He played really well. So I think we have a good team. We might not win because we know we're playing against professional Dota 2 players in some of these. Professional Dota 2 players have signed up. One team called Ninjas in Pajamas. They beat like one of the best teams in Europe recently, called Team Secret. So if we meet them, I don't expect us to win. I don't actually expect us to win at all. This is just because I like competitive things and fun. So
how is like the setup? Is it you get knocked out when you lose a match, or is it?
It's single elimination, best of 1.
Okay.
Yeah. If we there are 4 qualifiers, and if you are the top 1 team in a qualifier, you get into another qualifier where there's 4 teams and the 2 best teams move on. No, wait. 2 teams from each qualifier move on, and then 1 team from the next qualifier moves into like the big finals. And if you make it past the first stage of qualifying, you actually get into like a best of 3. And I think it's still single elimination.
Right.
And you play captain's mode, which is standard in professional Dota. I don't know if I said that, if I'm going to play in Dota, but I think I did.
Yeah, you did say it was going to be Dota.
Yeah. I have been playing a lot of Dota. Found a new favorite hero, I think, at least for now.
Which is?
Juggernaut!
Wasn't expecting you to say that, actually. I know that you like him.
Well, what did you expect me to say? This is more interesting, I think.
I thought that you were going to say either Faceless Void.
But he's kind of already a favorite, isn't he?
Yeah, true. But he's also like a kind of...
Fallen from Grace, my Grace. I haven't played him a lot. Well, I played him last match, but
true.
I was forced to. Single draft. Who was your other choice then? Or your other guess?
I thought that you were going to say something like PA.
Yeah.
Phantom Assassin. I should
clarify. Yeah. I do like her as well. I've liked her less and less now that she's popular. But she's kind of gone to that state where, because when I started playing Faceless Void, the only reason I picked him was so I wouldn't have to play against him. And it's kind of turned into that where I'm picking PA just not to play against PA. I'd rather be hard counted by 5 heroes than actually play against PA.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah. But no, yeah, it's Juggernaut. He's gained some really good buffs recently. Like, he got 6 agility. And he is an agility carry hero, which means carry means that if you get more XP and gold. The more XP and gold you get, the better you are, and you need a significant advantage in it to be really useful. And agility means that if you get the agility stat, you get extra damage. And agility also has the nice little benefit of not only increasing your armor, but also your attack speed. So increase of attack speed by 6, damage by 6, and armor by something. So last hitting with him in the early game is super easy, getting farm. And now the pros have begun playing him. So there's like these really effective builds going on. So I build him, you get a lot of crit early and a Mask of Madness. So you hit really fast and you get just crits and splat splat. So I played a match of him earlier today and went like 7-0 or something.
That's not what you did.
I did.
No, you didn't. When you didn't go 7-0.
I did.
I thought you had 22 kills.
Yeah, but that was with Faceless Void. But I played the Juggernaut match before that where I went 7-0.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of all I was planning to play Dragon Age Inquisition this week, but it's just not happened. I've been up far too late, and I wake up, and I'm tired, and I feel like that's a game where I want to, like... I still haven't gotten to that point in that game where I can go in and play a few hours. I feel like I need this big, like, marathon session before I can really start playing it like a game.
Right.
But I guess I'll really try and play it until next podcast. Not because I feel like I need to, but I want to. Because I've been feeling like, I'm kind of forgetting the start of this game. And I'm like, I'm only playing Dota. I really want to play Dragon Age. And I think if I can get into it, if I can just play it for a little bit, it will get its hooks in me. And then you won't see me for 80 hours.
That is fair enough.
That's fair enough. And that's kind of all. I guess we can move on then to our next segment, which is...
Rapid Fire News.
Rapid Fire News. That's the extent of our budget.
That's the official jingle of this segment.
I've already forgotten what I said. It was something like... in any case, this is hot news. Actually just released a few hours ago. Blizzard's Overwatch hits trademark problem. Some of you may have seen this game at... It was BlizzCon, right?
Yeah, what they released... I think... Wasn't it BlizzCon? They released the sort of the cinematic where...
Well, they did it perfectly. They had a teaser, they had a trailer, and they had a gameplay demo. That's how they revealed their game, and I think that's just perfect. But yeah, it was BlizzCon last year. It's kind of it kind of looks like Team Fortress, both in art style and the sort of like having different classes, but the classes kind of are a character, like with names and a personality. They're not faceless.
Yeah.
Ones. But yeah, they ran into a problem with the USPTO, which stands for the United States Patent and Trademark Office, because there is an application that's developed by Innovis Labs that, and I quote, a tactical utility to enhance airsoft, paintball, and first-person shooter gameplay events. So both of these things are considered in the genre of gaming. And that's why it's why the what do you call it? Kerfuffle? Do you want to call it a kerfuffle?
A kerfuffle. We'll call it a kerfuffle.
Yeah, a kerfuffle. And there's been no update yet, so I guess both sides are just trying to find proof that their claim is better. So maybe this will be maybe they'll lose and be like, it's not going to be Overwatch anymore, but it's going to be like...
That would be rather disastrous. Although, to be honest, I'm assuming there's a crowd of people that are following, the news that is about Overwatch. I'm not one of them. I had almost forgotten about Overwatch being a thing.
Yeah, same here.
The only sort of like Blizzard game that isn't out yet, that isn't like the front of my mind, is
Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm, yeah. Exactly.
And that game's gonna hit beta soon, isn't it? I think alpha's closing.
I think it was a closed beta though.
Yeah, I think I'm still in it though. I think you don't think you lose access.
I don't know. I was never put in, and I'm really sad about this.
That's because you aren't as cool as I am. But don't worry, when this podcast becomes famous, we'll get games by the balls.
We'll get press copies.
Oh yes, we just need to start writing reviews first. We'll post some on the site.
Good
But
idea.
yeah, that's that about Overwatch.
Is there any other news?
There is other news. Ralph Baer, the what they call like the godfather of video games, an engineer, he will get the DICE Pioneer Award posthumously. He will get it along with Al Alcorn, who is the developer of Pong. He will get Ralph Baer will get the 7th Pioneer Award, and Al Alcorn will get the 8th one. Let's see, what's it called? The Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences says that the special honor is reserved for individuals whose career-spanning work has helped shape and define the industry through the creation of a new technology approach. That's me quoting things. That's not my era. Or the introduction of a new genre, which Ralph Baer and Al Alcorn aren't just. They are the behemoths. They did found the industry that we're talking about today. So I think that's a fitting award to give.
It's a shame that Ralph Baer died last year.
Yes, he got to be quite old though. However, yeah, he died at the age of 92 in early December.
It's interesting because I had never heard the name Ralph. I might have heard the name Ralph Baer, but totally forgot about it. I have heard about the Magna Fox Odyssey thing though,
Yeah,
which is the first commercial
console. Yeah.
console. Yeah.
I just think it's cool because this guy, kept on working and doing engineering stuff well into like old age, and I just think that shows a passion that I can really admire, and I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, he will receive that award, and I don't think we can do anything else than agree that it is a good choice.
Totally.
But moving on, Awesome Games Done Quick raises another cool $1 million for charity. Is the headline of this one, and they've actually raised more than 1.5 million in donations alone. If you don't know what this is, Awesome Games Done Quick is a charity event where a lot of people come together to play speedruns. And speedruns are very simply trying to get through a game as quickly as possible.
Yes.
And they usually have a stream of the game and then like a camera on the person doing it, and the guy playing also usually like comments on his run. It's like, oh, you need to go through this door and do this because then you can do that. Usually quite cool. So they've raised...
It's a pretty popular YouTube content.
Yeah.
I would say it's not the most popular, but that's obviously Minecraft. But it's a fairly popular YouTube content.
That and like Let's Plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so they have raised more than $1.5 million, and they also have, I think, what they're saying is that they like have other things adding in, because they have like merchandise that they sell and a themed humble bundle. So this is just $1.5 million, more than $1.5 million is just from donations from people alone, and then they'll get even more from merchandise and the humble bundle. So yeah, if you donated or if you played for it, then all the props to you for supporting charity, and supporting charity in a big way. And that's really cool, and seeing that it actually is increasing. It hasn't decreased, but the amount donated is getting higher than last year. That I think is a really good sign.
Definitely.
And now to some controversial news.
Wow.
Mostly because you and I couldn't agree on the pronunciation.
Right.
Well,
I know what this is about.
Yeah. Steam.
Actually, Jacob, I need to pause you.
Okay.
I want you to do something for me.
What do you want me to do?
Not entirely live, because if you're listening to this is not live, but live right now, I want you to go to our Tumblr page and have a look to see if anybody asked any questions.
Indeed, they have asked a question. I've actually looked at this already, and we will dive into this question in the next piece of news. Because this is about Steam, and Steam is a platform that has a marketplace. And as soon as you have a marketplace and people being able to trade things between other people, will try and exploit that to get to spend as little as possible to get as much as they can. So there's a lot of bots and scammers, and I haven't met any personally, but there's a lot of them in Dota where they're like, "Oh hey, you're a friend. Can you give me some items because I got hacked?" And it's like, no. So what they've done is that they've introduced a captcha test, or not a captcha test, but they are trying to verify your existence through a captcha, because captcha in itself has the word test in it. It's an acronym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this the controversial bit? How do you pronounce captcha?
Yeah, because I said captcha.
And I say captcha.
Yeah.
Like you would spell it. Like it's spelled.
Yeah, I think I think you may be right. I think the reason I said it was because I thought that you capture someone with it. It's like, aha, got you, bot. We captured you.
That is obviously the intended sort of joke, or
is it just like a dance, like da 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 capture?
No.
Okay, crap. Yeah, so this is I think what the quote from Valve's John Cook is that we know it's a bit of a hassle and we don't like making trading harder for users, but we do expect it to significantly help customers who are tricked into downloading and running malware from losing their items. So it's basically when people are, how can I say this in a nice, inoffensive way?
Quite easily.
When people are gullible enough to click links and download things,
yeah,
they will now be a bit safe because a bot can't clear their entire inventory without writing in a little phrase. So I don't do a lot of trading, so this doesn't matter to me at all. So
it's also not really that big of a deal, dude.
No, it's if it's that much of a hassle for you to type in a phrase, then maybe you should reconsider your life values.
Yeah.
And now comes the really controversial piece of news when it comes to pronunciation, and we can actually stick in with this question that we got. If you have any questions, or actually, we'll take this question later.
Will we? We
will, and I'll just use the sort of literal pronunciation for now. The piece of news is that Nintendo will not be selling their consoles and games in Brazil anymore because of high taxes. Because apparently there's a huge tariff on imported games and things in Brazil.
Tariff being an import tax. I don't really think that tariff is like a often used term anymore, is it?
No, I don't think it is. I think it's like you, me, and people who play Europa Universalis.
Yeah.
So yeah, an import tax is really high. The import tax in Brazil is really high. An example is that the PlayStation 4 now costs 3,999 reals. That's what we're gonna call the Brazilian currency for now, which is almost $1,500 which I guess I don't know the euro conversion from dollars to euros.
How much dollars was it?
1,500.
1,500. That's approximately 1,300 euros right now.
Euros. Okay. And then you can see like the PlayStation 4 is imported to Brazil. You then have the Xbox One, which Microsoft manufactures in Brazil. That costs 2,199 reals, which is a little more than $800.
Yeah.
So you can see there's almost like double the price on a console. And the PlayStation 4 in retail, I think, is cheaper than the Xbox One. And in Brazil, it's almost double as expensive. So Nintendo are basically like, Brazil is an important market, but we can't make money doing this, and we don't really want to start they don't think they're gonna make money by starting a factory either.
Yeah.
So if you're in Brazil and you want to play Nintendo things, I guess you have, because they're still gonna sell it in like neighboring countries. I guess you have to like drive over to a neighbor and buy it.
That's not something you can necessarily do depending on where you live in Brazil.
No, it might be a bit of a trip.
It might be a bit of a trip.
Maybe enough to like say, okay, I'm just not gonna buy a Wii U. I'm instead gonna buy this cheap ass Xbox One,
Which has no good games yet.
Doesn't it?
It's got a handful of games.
The thing is, like, yeah, it does have a lot of good games, but not if you have a PC, because you.
Yeah.
That's I think is the big thing is that us who played games on consoles built ourselves a new PC and are now like, well, I've played most of the games. I've played Battlefield 4 and all those games. I don't need a new console for it.
Exactly.
There is one game I want for PS4 though. I think it's called Super Mega Baseball. It looks really cool. I really like it.
I probably won't like it, but if you want it, you should totally get it.
Okay, I'll go buy a PS4 tomorrow. No problem.
No problem.
I'll trade in my Santa hat because I'm like, this is a Santa hat of a famous podcaster. What more could you want? So yeah, that's Nintendo out of Brazil. And now for the most important piece of news.
Is there even more news?
One last piece of news. The most important piece of news. Valve announces the International 2015 Dota 2 tournament dates.
Oh.
Yes. The International, if you don't know it, is like it's actually been called by Valve themselves the World Championships of Dota. So,
which is probably true.
Like,
yeah.
It's like the world. It was cool last year because the International ran kind of alongside the World Cup. So there was a lot of like World Championships going on. So you could watch some Dota and then you could watch a football match and go back and forth. But yeah, so the last year it went from July 18th to the 21st. This year it will go from Monday, August the 3rd through Saturday, August the 8th. The invitations will go out to players because that's a kind of cool thing about the International is that they don't invite teams, but they invite players. So the players invited can change teams and everything, but you can't say like, oh, the team Evil Geniuses got invited. That doesn't work. You need the players in it.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, before the International, I think rosters are pretty much locked. There's not a lot of trades going on at that point. But yeah, those invitations will go out shortly after May 1st. And I'm really excited. I think the International is really cool. I would love to go there.
What's stopping you?
It's very expensive, and you have to be on a plane for 16 hours.
Yeah, I can tell you from experience that's not fun.
Yeah, that's recent experience from you as well. You only 14 days ago.
Yeah.
Where you flew, because flying to Seattle and flying to California, I imagine it's the same distance. You landed in Detroit, right?
No, when we went there, we landed in New York, and then we flew to San Diego.
Right, on the way home, you landed in Detroit.
Yeah.
Yes. This, from Stockholm, you land in Chicago, and Chicago is bordering, not Detroit, but the Michigan, the state
of Michigan. Yeah.
The state of Michigan, where Detroit lies, and the state of Illinois. Well, I think they say Illinois. No, they say Illinois. They must say Illinois.
I think there might be people that say Illinois because they have never been educated in French, but it would definitely be Illinois.
Yeah, I want to say Illinois. It sounds weird not saying Illinois. So
yeah.
The state of Illinois is where Chicago is. So that free geography lesson.
Free geography.
And I think north of that is just Canada. At least you have
north of Michigan, but it's like water. Isn't there water between Michigan and?
You have Lake Michigan, and Lake Michigan goes from it goes up to Toronto, I think.
Yeah.
Sweet. But yeah, that was the last piece of news. Did you watch any of the International 4 last year?
I did not. Actually watched the football World Cup. I didn't watch any of the international.
We all watched Robin, and my entire family got super surprised knowing that he's like 30. He looks like he's 45.
He looks very old.
He looks super old. Maybe because he's constantly frowning.
And he's bald, but yeah, he looks old. Yeah, no, I didn't really. I think I've seen some like matches. Is there StarCraft there?
On the international?
Yeah.
Nope, that's just Dota.
Is it just Dota?
Yeah, it's
Then
Valve's tournament.
I only watch like StarCraft tournaments really.
StarCraft, usually during summer you might have an MLG. You definitely have a DreamHack. You have the DreamHack summer. You might have an IEM, the Intel Extreme Masters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. The international is a tournament that is all money from Valve and Valve sales, so no other game than Dota 2 will be there.
Fair enough. Team Fortress 2 should be an esport.
Don't you think it is? Don't you think there are esport teams in Team Fortress somewhere?
Probably.
Everything's an esport. For this team I spoke with, Team 03, I'm going to start esports. We're going to have Crusader Kings esports.
I'd like to see that, because that game is RNG as can be.
It's all the rush to get retinues. Like everybody, oh no, he first picked Byzantium, GG.
He first picked Byzantium, GG. And in EU4 it will be, oh, he picked France, GG.
Does France beat Ottomans?
France beats Ottoman only day of the week, yeah.
Alright, France beats everything. You need to have big alliances when France turns into a republic, because if you don't, they're just going to steamroll over you.
The only ones that could like beat France on their own potentially is a Spain with a lot of colonies, a lot of money, because you can, as Spain, I mean, we're not gonna like spend too much on this, but as Spain you can have technically got enough money to have 2 times your force limit in troops, right?
Yeah.
You can just become that rich that you can afford that. But otherwise, if you play France right, it's the strongest country.
What about if you manage to form the Holy Roman Empire? Like if you turn it into one country without all the princes and stuff.
If you do that as Brandenburg,
well, like you want the right national ideas.
Yeah, you want the Prussian ideas, like the amazing.
Don't you get German ideas from Brandenburg? But then you get Prussian ideas when you become Prussian?
No, I don't think you do. I think I have to fact check this.
Because Brandenburg is not, Prussia is, in like Poland. It's by Danzig and stuff like that, or Gdansk.
No, they get their own ideas, I think. And they keep.
I formed Prussia once. I've forgotten how it is, and I formed it as Brandenburg.
Yeah, they get their own ideas. They get the
Prussian ideas.
Yeah, which gives you some really overpowered things, such as 20% extra morale, 20% infantry combat ability, and 7.5% discipline. It essentially makes the armies the best.
So if you form Prussia and then you become emperor, then
you might beat France, but we're speaking about a player picking France at the start. If a player picks France at the start, they'll prevent that.
I've never played as France in any of the games. I've never played it in Crusader Kings. I've never played it in Europa Universalis. My default choice is always Sweden, because I think that's the most fun. Which is also a very powerful country in these games.
Sweden is, especially in EU4.
15% discipline.
Yeah.
Which just makes you stronger and better and cooler. Yeah, we should not talk too long about all that stuff, because I think we've been going on for at least over an hour.
We've been going on for too long.
Well, no, I think our first episode was almost reaching up to... Uh-oh, I pressed the button. I hope I didn't shut anything off. No, I don't think I did. I didn't hang up on you, did I?
You didn't hang up on me.
Cool. I'm not going to edit this out,
It's fine.
People will know.
I mean, if they've gotten this far, they can probably bear us fucking up.
Full disclosure, it's 3:50 a.m. If we've been rambling, it might be because we have no actual clue that we're talking most of the time. We're like,
yeah.
Well,
We're just on automatic pilot. But okay, yeah. So to round it up, there's going to be the international in August.
Yep. From August 3rd to August 8th. And that's
In
that's
Seattle.
in Seattle, as far as I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the main event. So I bet the qualifiers will be running, throughout June and July maybe.
Yeah.
Which are also fun. And, hopefully a new compendium and things. Because I like that from last year, the compendium with all the compendium stretch goals and thingies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all we had for news this week. A lot more than last week. Things are finally happening again. People have woken up from the new year and they're awake and happy and smell good.
And some news is happening.
Yep. So, we're going to round this podcast out with a question. Hot question. If you want to ask us a question, please go to bcscast.tumblr.com/ask. You can ask us anything. You can be anonymous, if that's your thing. And
Definitely.
your question will be answered in this segment of the podcast. But yeah, one question has come in today from Anonymous, and the question is, this isn't something that's very important because it has to do with the currency that we spoke about earlier, and that is, what is the correct pronunciation of the name of the Brazilian currency, real?
Yeah, because okay, there's a story behind this.
Yes.
I was on holiday in America, which we talked about last week, or last week? Last
2
week.
weeks even, I think. We talked about it in episode 2 and said that you were going away.
True. But I was back.
You were back last week. Last episode. Yes.
Yeah. So when I was there, I met a person who was from Brazil, and we hung because we were in LA and then we went to San Diego, right?
Yeah.
And he also went to San Diego on the same day as us. So we hung out with him in LA and in San Diego.
Yeah.
And he has mentioned that word. He has spoken that word several times. He has said like real or like real. I think it was like real, what he said, right?
Real.
Which is the plural.
Yeah.
Would definitely be the plural, because the plural, they have like a different version for the plural, right? It's not like...
Well, so do we. We have a krona and kronor.
Yeah. But they don't just add like an S, which is dollars.
No, yeah. Or euros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he has mentioned it, definitely. I just can't remember his exact pronunciation. I think he said real.
Yeah, and we tried to look this up. I think looking it up, they say like the English pronunciation is real.
Yeah.
Real. And then they had like Brazilian Portuguese was like real or something.
Real, right? Like real.
And then we went to Google Translate and we put in Portuguese, because if you didn't know, they speak Portuguese in Brazil, not Brazilian. And in Portuguese, the Portuguese woman who does the voiceover for Google Translate said, "Aoi."
No,
No,
wasn't
real.
like,
It was like real. It was a
no, it was real. Like there was not.
real.
Yeah, it was like an R, but like the R was
Real.
silent or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I might call him real or real.
Real.
The slight tremble. It might real, perhaps.
Real.
Having a bit more of a guttural sound. Like either that or just a more like front.
Real.
Real. Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully, maybe this. If we have any Portuguese or Brazilian listeners, you can send us in what we're doing wrong, or maybe there's just several different pronunciations of the, depending on the dialect and what have you.
Also, if you're not Brazilian or Portuguese, but you speak Portuguese, then you're also, of course, also welcome to send in an answer. You don't have to.
You don't have to show proof of what's it called, citizenship
Of one of these countries. No, actually, what I want is a copy of your passport
And your credit card.
and your credit card. And if you could be so kind, give me your email address, the name of your mother, the maiden name of your mother, the date of birth of your mother, maybe also like your password that you like to use, like
Password
for your
123
email address,
penis.
whatever, something like that. That
Yep.
would help. So yeah, if you want to answer that question, please make sure that you include a copy of your passport, a copy of your credit card, your email address, and your mother's name and maiden name. That would be appreciated.
I'm so reporting you to the police.
Okay. That's fast.
Yeah,
Right.
it's they really take scammers like you seriously.
They really take identity theft as like serious.
Yep.
Right.
Well, we didn't have any more questions.
No, we don't.
I hope that we might get some more. Like, ask anything. If you're a listener, just ask something silly. It's
It's appreciated.
it's fun. Yeah, it does add, because sometimes we have our schedule of things to say.
A schedule we stick to very loosely.
Very loosely, yes. Like my morals. But yeah, it's bcscast.tumblr.com/ask if you want to ask a question. If you're on the site listening to this, I think the button is actually, let me look this up, because I can't remember really where the button to ask questions is. I think
more fact checking.
it's at the bottom. It's archive, and then it says send us questions, and you click on that, and you type it in, and we'll get it, and we'll answer it. But yeah, that's it for this week.
Definitely, I think, yeah.
Yeah, we've gone through a lot. I hope you've had fun. We'll be back in a week. I'll have a lot more Dota to talk about.
And I'll try and play more anime games or something. I don't know.
Because I am Dr. Anime. Are you trying to steal my position as anime expert of BCS Cast?
No. In that case, I'll just play more free-to-play MMOs.
It sounds like you're going down a very dark path. And I will be your light in the darkness.
Very well.
Sweet.
I will see you.
I will see you too, and we will see all our listeners.
That's what I want to say. Like, I could say I will see you next week, but that's not true. I will see you before next week, probably. But
our listeners you might not see.
Exactly.
But your voice will be heard by them. And we appreciate you very much. I hope everyone who listened in has had a fantastic time, that you have a great week, and we'll see you in the next one.
week.